Today, we're going to tackle Git. But forget about memorizing a long list of cryptic commands. Instead, we're going to follow a developer through a totally normal day to see how Git is actually used in the real world. My goal here is to help you turn Git from something that might feel a little intimidating into a tool you can use confidently every single day. Let's dive in.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the absolute basics. What even is Git? Then we'll walk through how you start your workday and get into that core coding loop. After that, we'll see how Git makes teamwork possible. And then for the really cool stuff, Git's incredible time machine features. We'll wrap it all up with some pro tips to really sharpen your skills.
All right, first things first. What is Git? Really, before we get into any of the commands, let's just quickly nail down what problem it was built to solve. I mean, come on, we've all been there, right? You accidentally delete a critical file, or you and a teammate end up overwriting each other's work. It's chaos. Well, that is the exact pain that version control was invented to cure. And this is exactly where Git comes in. At its heart, Git is just a system that keeps a super detailed history of every single change made to your code. Think of it as the ultimate safety net for your own work, and just as importantly, the central hub that makes teamwork possible. Now, let's clear up something that trips up everyone at first. Git and GitHub are not the same thing. Git is the actual software, the tool running on your computer that does all the change tracking. GitHub, on the other hand, is a website, a cloud service where you can store your projects. So you use Git, the tool, to send your work up to GitHub, the website. Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. The coffee's kicked in, you're sitting at your desk. How does a developer actually start the day with a project that uses Git?
Well, it usually starts with two simple commands. First, you clone the project. That's just a fancy word for downloading a complete copy of the project from a place like GitHub onto your machine. Then, and this is crucial, you create a new branch. A branch is basically your own private sandbox. It lets you work on your new feature without any danger of messing up the main, stable code.
Now, to really get Git, you got to understand these three areas. First, your working directory. That's just your project folder. It's your workbench with all your files. When you change a few files and you're ready to get them ready for a save, you add them to the index, which is also called the staging area. It's like putting items in a shopping cart. You're preparing them for checkout. And finally, head. That's just a simple pointer that tells Git what your last save was. It's your current location in the project's history. So that brings us to the daily rhythm of a developer. It's this constant, iterative loop of code a little, save your progress, and then do it all over again. And this is where the commit comes in. A commit is the act of permanently saving your staged changes into Git's history. And here's the thing, pros don't just commit once at the end of the day. They commit often, every time they finish one small logical chunk of work. The video game save point analogy is perfect. It's a snapshot you can always go back to. So here's a classic situation. You're deep in the zone, working on some complex new feature, and your code is, well, it's a mess. And then, bam, a critical bug report comes in. You have to switch gears right now, but you can't commit your half-finished work. So what do? The answer is one of the most useful commands out there, git stash. Stash takes all your messy, uncommitted changes and just puts them on a temporary shelf. Your project is instantly clean again, so you can go fix that urgent bug. And when you're done, you just pop your changes right back off the shelf and you're exactly where you left off. It's a lifesaver. So far, we've mostly focused on you working by yourself. But let's be real, software development is a team sport, and this is where Git truly shines, helping everyone stay in sync. Okay, this is a really important one. Knowing the difference between fetch and pull. Using git fetch is like peeking at what your team has been up to. It downloads all their latest work but doesn't actually touch your code. It just lets you see what's new. Git pull, on the other hand, does that, and then it immediately tries to merge all those new changes into your branch. So, pro tip, always fetch first. See what's coming before you merge it. And this leads us to the moment every new developer dreads. You go to pull in your teammates' latest changes and Git just stops. It tells you there's a conflict. You both tried to edit the exact same lines in the exact same file. Now what? This is called a merge conflict.
And I'm going to tell you a secret. It's not an error. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just Git's way of politely raising its hand and saying, hey, I see two different changes to the same spot, and I'm just a computer. I can't decide which one is right. I need a human to look at this. It's a totally normal part of working on a team.
And resolving it is way less scary than it sounds. You just open the file, and Git will have marked exactly where the conflicting code is. You look at it, and you edit the file to keep the code you want. Maybe it's your version, maybe it's your teammates, or maybe it's a mix of both. Then you just save the file, you add it to tell Git, hey, I fixed it, and then you commit. That's it. Panic over.
All right, now for my absolute favorite part of Git, its ability to act like a time machine. Look, making mistakes is just part of coding, but with Git, you never have to be afraid of them, because you can undo pretty much anything.
So the two main ways to undo stuff are reset and revert. Git reset is powerful. It's like going back in a time machine and literally erasing a commit from history. Because it rewrites the past, it can be pretty dangerous on branches your team shares. Git revert is the much safer, more polite option. It doesn't erase anything. Instead, it creates a brand new commit that does the exact opposite of an old one. It undoes the change but keeps a perfect record of what happened.
But what if you really mess up? I mean, you use reset by accident and delete a week's worth of work, or even delete an entire branch. Is it gone forever? Nope. Meet your guardian angel, Git reflog. The reflog is like a black box flight recorder for your project. It keeps a private log of almost every single move you make. You can just look through this log, find the point right before you made the mistake, and restore everything. It has saved my bacon more times than I can count. Okay, you've got the daily flow down. You know how to start your day, how to collaborate, and how to fix mistakes. Let's finish up with a few rapid-fire tips that really separate the beginners from the pros.
Your teammates will love you for these three things. First, write good commit messages. A short, clear summary at the top is non-negotiable. Second, name your branches clearly. A name like feature/login UI tells everybody exactly what's going on. And third, like we said before, commit often. Small, focused commits are way easier for everyone to understand.
And here are a few daily habits to get into. Always sync up with the latest code before you start your own work. Always, always, always run your tests before you push your code for others to see. You can also create aliases or shortcuts for common commands to save you some typing. And please, unless you are 110% sure you know what you're doing, never, ever force push to a shared branch. It's the easiest way to make your teammates very, very unhappy.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Your Git history is more than just a log of code changes. When it's done well, it tells the story of your project, how an idea grew, how problems were solved, and how the team worked together. Every day you're writing a new chapter in that story, one commit at a time. So the only question is, what story will yours tell?